Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Michael in the Morning. Today is Tuesday, October 27th, 2020, and this is your second stimulus check and second stimulus package update. We have a lot of very important information to go over, so in today's video, we're first going to cover how Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Mnuchin spoke yesterday on Monday at 2 p.m. for 52 minutes. And despite failing to come to an agreement on a second stimulus package, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says that she remains very optimistic that a deal will be reached before Election Day. After that, we're going to go over a letter that Nancy Pelosi sent to House Democrats where she goes over the current status of the second stimulus package, where they stand in negotiations, and when she believes we will get a bill passed. And finally, make sure to stick around until the end where we go over how Nancy Pelosi's spokesperson, Drew Hammill, came out and said that we are hopeful that Republicans' response to the bill will be positive as we await the outcomes of talks between committee chairs. He explained how committee chairs have been meeting and discussing the specific details of the second stimulus bill, so we're going to hear what they have to say about that as well. We're going to go over all of this and more, but before we get started, if you enjoy this sort of content, well then please be sure to like the video down below and subscribe to my channel. It's completely free to do so, and it currently says about 50% of you watching are not subscribed, so if you'd like to stay up to date on the second stimulus check and other news updates, well then please be sure to subscribe. Also, don't forget, you can get 2 free stocks valued up to $1,600 when you download the Webull investing app using the link down below, and you can get $20 when you download the M1 Finance app as well. So, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Mnuchin spoke yesterday on Monday for 52 minutes. Despite failing to come to an agreement on Monday on a second stimulus bill, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said that she remains very optimistic about us getting a deal reached before the election day. Pelosi's spokesperson, Drew Hammill, came out and said that the Speaker continues to eagerly await the Trump administration's acceptance of Democrats' health language in the next stimulus bill, including a national strategic plan for testing and contact tracing. Hammill goes on to say that Pelosi remains optimistic about a bill being passed and about an agreement being reached before Election Day, even with only 8 days to go until the election. However, one thing to keep in mind, though, is that the Senate was officially scheduled to leave Washington, D.C. yesterday on Monday, so it may be very difficult to get them back to vote on a bill, especially with only very few days before the election. Moving on, White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow told reporters earlier on Monday that the difference between the two sides have started to narrow and things are getting a lot closer. But the more it narrows, the more they get closer to actually passing a bill, the more details that come up from the other side. In a letter to House Democrats yesterday on Monday, Nancy Pelosi said that today we are waiting for an important response on several concerns, including an action to crush the virus. She wrote in a letter to her colleagues that 10 days after Mnuchin went on CNBC to declare that he was accepting our testing plan, the administration still refuses to do so. In her statement, she said that a national testing plan, tracing, treatment, mask wearing, social distancing, and other science-based steps are essential to crush the virus and combat the disparities facing communities of color. And without this plan in place, the country will not be able to safely reopen schools and the economy as a whole. She goes on to say that in all of their legislation, they have stressed the importance of testing, but that the White House administration and Republicans have never followed through, and they don't see it as being that important. Pelosi explained how the Republicans continue to surrender to the virus, particularly amid the recent wave of increase in the number of cases. We're seeing record number of cases every single day, and she urged that the two sides must come to an agreement as soon as possible, but that they cannot accept the administration's refusal to crush the virus, honor our heroes, put money in the pockets of American people, and more. She said those are things that she cannot compromise on because that's the whole point of getting a deal done in the first place. She said how ultimately it's a matter of life or death, and Democrats are deadly serious about the responsibility they face, and they desperately want to get a bill passed before the election. And finally, Nancy Pelosi's spokesperson Drew Hammill came out on Twitter yesterday and said that we are hopeful that Republicans and the Trump administration's response will be positive as we also await the outcomes of talks between committee chairs. He said that it's clear that our progress depends on Leader Mitch McConnell agreeing to bipartisan, comprehensive legislation to crush the virus, honor our heroes, our essential workers, and put money in the pockets of American people. The Speaker remains optimistic that an agreement can be reached before the election, which is only 8 days away, but realistically, the chances of a deal being struck before Election Day are very slim, as there's just about a week left before the election, and that really isn't enough time to get a bill passed. They could get something proposed and voted on, maybe in just the House, and it could be up for a vote in the Senate, but getting it passed and signed by the president in this short of a time is very unlikely. So we'll most likely see a bill passed after election. But anyways, that's just a quick update on the second stimulus check and second stimulus package. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to get your 2 free stocks valued up to $1,600 when you download the Webull investing app using the link down below. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.